Okay. So I decided to do this on YouTube instead.
Okay.
Stutter Green. Or is it? Yeah, Stutter Green. Except the S is capital and also the G. It should be the one with the red and like the one on Twitch.
I'm already subscribed to your other account.
Okay, cool. Let me do a few things real quick. What is it showing on the screen?
Blackness.
Okay, cool.
Oh my god, the fucking leg is so much better on this.
I love that. Move this down a little bit, and I'm going to turn this on. Can you see my my roof?
Hold on, it's loading. Yeah, so I can see ceiling, or I think it's ceiling. Let me switch that actually to my computer so I can keep drawing on it. There's 2 viewers.
2?
There's 2 viewers. Oh my god. Who is the other person?
Okay, so give me a second. I'm actually going to do that. Not do flashing things. I'm just gonna turn this like this.
I need to give somebody an what the fuck is it called again?
What? A what?
Oh, epilepsy? Epilepsy warning. There we go. That took me way longer than I hoped.
Hand.
Here's your hand.
That was my hand. So, I was thinking, because I kind of like this lighting situation. So I was thinking maybe I can talk about scary stories. Ooh. How is my audio though? Is my audio good or not?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you hear yourself well?
Hello. It's quieter on this apparently.
Okay.
Which is preferred actually, if I'm being fully honest.
Okay. Give me a minute. I'm actually
That was my other device though.
going to do this real quick. So okay. Okay. So I was thinking of sharing because I really just want to talk about scary stories. God damn it. Hold on. Hold on, give me a second. I was not 100% prepared for this. Okay. So, I'm actually Is it cool if I left call?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna leave call so I can have at least like some kind of background music. Okay. I'm gonna like that. All right. So I'm actually gonna turn this on.
Powering on. Welcome to All Tech Lansing.
Shut up. Okay. We all like sounds. I'll have this like background sound. So I'm actually going to I could do this real quick. Give me a second. Oh, that's way too dark. And brighten that up. Yeah, no, I was 100% for sure that this was not going to work and I was going to have a hard time. So, here we go. Here we go. That was not fair. Okay. So, now that I'm actually prepared, I actually wanted to talk about a few nights back actually. No, it wasn't a few nights. It was actually a few weeks ago. I was home alone and around I believe because usually every night I'm on call with two of my friends. One of them's here. Hi, Crow. But this night I was home by myself and I wasn't on call with anyone. And I was going to be home alone. I'm usually only home alone for a few hours and not really an entire day or 2 days. But this, one night, or actually it was a whole. I was I was home alone for at least a day and a half, and hello. But I was home alone, and this was my first time being left more than a few hours. And I'm already practically a very paranoid person. A lot of every time when I'm home alone, I tend to close every single door in the house, including closets, bathrooms. Um, I also close shower curtains. I make sure everything is closed, and it's not just like something that has to be done for no reason. I am deeply afraid that if I don't have them closed, then I feel that if something does happen, I wouldn't be aware. And the doors would notify me, or the curtains would notify me if something was going to happen. So, like for example, like someone just like barge out of a room, I would know because the door is closed, and they wouldn't just sneak up on me. Um, and if not that, I deal with a lot of paranormal. I want to say paranormal stuff. So just wanted to catch all of that. I guess it's some kind of closure to me. It's and this one night I had closed all the doors, all the curtains and such, and it was just me and my dog. And my dog She is not much of a barker. She usually whimpers, or she'll just stare at something she doesn't like, or maybe just a little bit of a growl. But I remember I had gotten up to grab a snack from the kitchen, and when I came back and I closed the door, my dog just starts barking, like wild barking. And I'm not gonna lie, I was a little freaked out because I don't know why she was barking. And I noticed that she was barking at me, like where I was, and I was right in front of the door that I had just closed. Um, it freaked me out, so I kind of just locked the door. I I was like, no, I'm not going to check that. It took her a little while to calm down, but um, when she did, I laid down, or I sat down, and I was doing whatever I was doing. I was watching a show, and I just heard like a door slam, and I was a little freaked out. I'm not gonna lie. I've never told this story to my friends because it was already concerning that I didn't sleep that night at all, like zero zip. Um, but so I heard the door slam, and there's a lot of things running through my head. I didn't know what I was expect. Like I didn't know if it was like, oh, did someone break in? Uh, am I catching what I've been expecting? Um, I didn't check. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest. I did not check. I was terrified. I didn't want to just no. So I waited if like maybe an hour, 30 minutes before I actually unlocked my door, and I went into the hall. And the hallway light. I usually have the hallway light on. The hallway light, and on a lot of occasions, likes to just randomly turn off. And it doesn't really. It sometimes does bother me, but it doesn't freak me out as much. But this time, I don't know why it sent the worst chills down my spine. And I immediately, I turned on the light, and I looked over to, because on the left side it's my little sister's room and my mom's room, and I saw that my mom's room door was open, and my mom has also shared that she also has experienced very very not family friendly things, including shadowy figures, sounds, um, like very eerie sounds, talking, um, people touching her. And I immediately was like, I need to close that door, but I really don't want to. So I had my dog walk out with me, and she refused to get out of my room. She just stood there at the door frame. So I was just not really knowing if I should go over there, check, or um, okay, hold on. Can you guys hear me properly? My thing. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Okay. Just double checking, cause okay. Okay. But like I said, I just really didn't know what to do. I've had similar experiences where I have to deal with certain things like this, but this time the feeling itself was just very intense. I didn't know. I felt like I was dealing with something a lot more. a lot more than just some friendly or tricking ghost or spirit or whatever you would like to call it. This felt unnaturally it was it was such a chaotic and energy. uh I just I felt very uncomfortable, and it was honestly something that I would assume would happen in movies than in real life. It was just it was silence. It was silence. Like the whole house was quiet, but the energy was so much that it felt like I was in the middle of a party. Like it was loud, and um, I collected my thoughts a little bit, and that's when I went and decided. I went over there and I turned on the light. Nothing was there, but um, the bathroom was also open because my mom. It's the master bedroom, so not only was okay. Yeah, aggressive. Yeah, like it was just a very tense thing. Um, I went over there, and the bathroom door was also open because it's um it's a master bedroom, and I really just did not want to walk in there. I didn't want to step in it whatsoever. So I left the bathroom door open, and the light was off too, so I didn't have to worry about going in and turning off the light. But I did turn on my mom's light, and even just sticking my hand in, it felt I felt like I was witnessing something very evil, like something really just horrible. Like I really shouldn't have been in there. But again, I didn't see anything. It just felt like that, and it was honestly like I was living inside of a nightmare. So, as fast as I could, I turned off the light and I closed it. I closed my mom's door, and I walked back to my room. My dog was already in. She stayed in the room, so I walked in and I locked my door again. So, a few hours passed, and it's already like maybe 2, 3, maybe 4 in the morning. Like I said, I didn't sleep at all, and I hear knocking, and I was just it sounded like knocking outside, like the front door, like someone was knocking, and it like confused me because my parents, my mom and my siblings weren't supposed to be home until the next day. Um, but nonetheless, I got up and I have a pocket knife. Just letting you know this entire time that I had my pocket knife in hand in case I someone did barge into the house. So I have my knife and I'm walking down the hall again. Um, Down the hall on the left side there is a kitchen. It's our kitchen, and then you walk straight into the living room. And to the right, once you pass the corner on the right, we have a little space that we use as a bedroom for my brother. And that room honestly has always 100% always has given me the chills. I it takes it I cannot just stand there by myself in that area alone because it is so eerie with um, just horrible energy. And it's even worse because where my room is, it's basically right next to the room. And sometimes, even if that room is completely empty, I can hear random bangs and scratches at my closet. And that's where my closet stands as well. Like my closet, and then boom, the other room. So, and I always try to brush it off, like, oh, it's just maybe some animals in the walls, or because this is a really old house, and even the floors are um, I'm not gonna lie, it looked really abandoned when we first moved in here. And even the flooring, it's all cracked and there's tiles missing. We're still trying to fix that as well, but it's a very eerie feeling when you're home alone in this house. So, like I said, I was walking, um, and it felt like something was telling me not to open the door, like at all. Like if it was like borderline, I could specifically hear someone tell me, "Do not open the door," and I panicked. I just kind of leaned against the wall, like right before I was gonna and like go to the living room. I just pressed myself against the wall and I stood there. I was terrified. So, you know, I'm waiting to hear if I can hear that. I could I could I'm just kind of sitting there and I'm waiting for the another knock to see if it's like another if it's actually someone out there. And I hear the knock, but it's not coming from the front, but it's coming from the back. And the back is actually connected to the kitchen. And I'm right in front of the kitchen. And all my hair just stood up and I was freaking out. I just kind of stood there and I'm just kind of sitting there. And then I hear it on the window on in the kitchen. And then I hear another knock in the front and the window on the front. And just these four things are just people or something just knocking. And it's not like fast, like come on, let me in, or like dead slow. It was like a normal, like if someone was to just come visit. That's what it sounded like. And the first thing that came to my head was they're not human. These things, it's a thing. It's not human. So I left it alone. I was like, this, I'm going crazy. So while that was still happening, I kind of like ran to my room and I just quietly closed it and I locked it. And I, in my room, even though it's like right next to that really eerie room, I feel very safe in my room. So, I'm sitting here, um, and it just stops. I don't hear it. I don't hear the knocking anymore. So I I was, I wasn't hyperventilating, but I was, my heart was pounding. I was trying to catch my breath. I was afraid, scared. My dog, she was just chilling. I don't think she heard anything because she wasn't barking, she wasn't growling, she wasn't whining, she was just chilling. So, I left my door locked and I went to go lay down with my dog. So, I had just finished a very comedian like show, Mr. Iglesias. I just finished watching that. So I moved on to something else. And um, no, it was starting to get brighter outside. It was maybe 5, 6, 7 in the morning. And nothing crazy has happened. Nothing was going on. But I really just felt like I should stay in my room. I felt what was going on in the house, it was still roaming outside of my room. And it was just waiting so it can, I don't know, do something. Um, and I don't want to say that I believe 100% that salt will like fix anything, but sprinkling salt along like at the foot of my door, it just always put me at ease. Or surrounding myself in the salt, it just made me feel at ease. So I sprinkled it at the edge of my door and I opened it because it's morning, so I'm gonna go get something to eat. And it it was just nothing else happened, honestly. I think that was just kind of. I was honestly saving this story for like a later day where I can, um, share with more than just two people. And I guess this is a really good place to do it. Um, this isn't my. I've. This is a story that I've had that's happened here with my mom, but I have tons of other Home Alone stories that weren't when I was living with my mom because I've lived with my dad for 3 years before. Um, I was probably I was 11 to 13 when I lived with my dad, and he used to work on the weekends from 9 p.m. to 2 in the morning, and he was a bar bouncer. So um, I remember very specifically this one night. I had a dog. I had a different dog. Right now, I have a black, blue-nosed pit bull. I right now have a black, blue pit bull. Her name's Nala. But before, I have had a white, red-nosed pit bull named Monster. And Monster was given to me by my uncle, who lived in Albuquerque and could not take care of him. So I had him in my room with me, and my dad had just left for work. I had other adults in the house, but they were also out. I think it was like I think they went to like a family thing. Really don't remember where they went, but it was my sister and my two brothers in my house, and this house was a lot bigger than this one that I'm currently living in. It was like a 5-story, 5-bedroom house, and it was just really big. I've lived in that house. Well, my family has lived in the house for more than like at that time it was like maybe more than 16 years. So I kind of grew up coming into that house because visits and stuff. Um, but this one night, also just want to side note, my dad's side of the family, a lot of them believed that we had an uncle, like a I had like we had like a I had a great 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 uncle that had died in the house because of they were shooting up heroin, and he died from an overdose in that house. So, um, I would always come to my grandma and say like, "Oh, I feel like something's watching me," and she would tell me that it was just my uncle watching over the house. So that was kind of like a little family thing. So whenever I would feel something watching me, and it was just never anything bad or good. It just felt like okay, eyes, they're just watching me, and it wasn't like a creepy way either. I would just be walking down the hall and I just feel it. And like, okay, well that's Uncle. But my dad was off to work. The no more adults were in the house, and my sister and my two brothers slept early. Maybe it was then we fell asleep around like 10, 11, and I usually stayed up until past 2 o'clock. So I would greet my dad in when he would come back home. So this was around 12, and my dog needed to go use the bathroom. So I went to go take him outside. Um, when I took him outside, I usually just kind of open the door in the backyard and he would go out, and I would sit in the living room for like 10 to 15 minutes while he did his business. Um, so I'm sitting in the living room and I'm letting him do his business outside, and I heard like whimpering, and I was like, oh shit, this like something happened to a monster. So I went outside. I opened the door and I didn't see him in the front, like in front of the door. So I was like, okay, he ran off to the side or something, because we had a very big backyard as well. And on the left side, we had like a shed, and then right in the middle of like the shed and the house was more open space. And then on the other side, it was also a lot of open space. But on the other side, my dad had collected a lot of like dry wood and bark, so we can make bonfires in the winter. So, you know, I walk out. It's dark outside, and I don't see him. So I call him out. I'm like, Monster, come, let's go inside. And he's not coming. So I keep hearing the whimpering. So I go to the side of the house on the left, and I don't see him. So I'm like, okay, so he's probably on the other side. And even though like I'm trying to think logically, I was like 13. I was trying to think logically. At the same time, I was freaking out. I was like, oh boy, I hope he's okay. And the seeing that he wasn't there in the first place, it creeped me out like a lot. And I went to the other side of the house, and I I didn't see him. And that honestly was very worrying to me, because like, where is my dog? I just took him outside. And I remember that he also had this if we leave him out way too long, he'll start like jumping the fence, and he just wander outside in the front. So I was like, okay. I was like, okay. He's probably in the front. So I go to the front, and he's sniffing around the tree. We had like a big tree in the front, and I was like, okay, thank God he's okay. I just see him sniffing around. He sees me, and he starts wagging his tail. But once I start walking toward him, he just starts growling. Welcome back. But he just starts like growling, and I'm just like, okay, that's not normal, because Monster, even though his name was Monster, he was the sweetest dog. He he was really good with like children, and he was just super cute. And he didn't bark at anyone. He always tried to lick people, like a friendly little pit bull would. Um, so hearing him growl at me was also very concerning. And I my first got pie. Oh, you got pie and popcorn. Okay, but got distracted looking at the chat a little bit. Um, so crap, where was I? Oh right. So my first reaction was to look behind me, and I didn't see anything. I'm just kind of sitting there. I'm standing there in front of the. But I'm like a few steps away from the door frame to the house, and I was still like, okay, come on, Monster, let's go inside. And he would not budge. He would not walk into the house with me. So I had to, walk closer to him and show him like, hey, it's just me. And once he, I think when he realized that it was just me, he kind of just followed me inside. And as soon as I locked the doors and stuff, it felt like I had trapped myself with like something evil, like not evil, but just very dark. I really don't like using the word evil, but it it felt like I was trapped in another nightmare. And I immediately took him back to my room. And at the time, I didn't have a lock on my door, so I couldn't lock my door. But I closed my door, and I turned on the lights in my room. I felt unsafe, very unsafe. And my dog, he's just kind of standing there at the door. And usually when I bring him inside the room, he'll sit down on the bed with me. But I'm sitting on the bed, and he's just standing there at the door, his like snout on the door, sniffing, like just sniffing. And it honestly still scared me that he was doing that. And he just kind of growled onto the door. And I kid you not, the doorknob started moving. And that was enough for me to I actually yelled. I called for my sister. And even though I'm the oldest, I was terrified, and she was the only other one. She was the only other person that could possibly dial 911 if something was happening. And the door stopped shaking, and the monster finally moved out of the way, and my sister was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! Why'd you wake me up? What the fuck? What the heck's going on?" And I was just like, I could not speak. I was like petrified. I didn't know what to do. But yeah, after that was probably the worst time that I had. Nope, that was not the worst time. Home Alone. The first story that I said was the worst. But that happened. Let's see, what other kind of Home Alone stories do I have? I've had where someone would whisper my name. I'm pretty sure that's happened. That's actually even happened even when I'm not home alone. So, do you guys have any like, I don't know, questions horror wise? I can probably. I have a lot of stories. Trust me, I have a ton of horror stories that just happened to me. If not, I can probably just like tell one from my family. They've also had a bunch of crazy ones. So, okay. Nice. Why'd you move in the chat? Come on. Come on, Shelby. Really? Mm. I just remembered something. I'm pretty sure that I've shared this one story several times, but I think it's still a good story. Yeah, that's Shelby. Shade Feather is Shelby, and Insufferable Nookwiff is Crow. I've mentioned both of you to each other, so continuing to horror stories though. I'm trying to think. What's a good? I have really good nightmares. Rather than no, I have really good nightmares. Um, let's see. Um, hmm. Oh yeah, no, I hate my nightmares too, but I have some really good intense ones. A lot of them come out as episodes, like as if it was like some kind of show. I've actually based a lot of maybe short scary stories that I've told before on my nightmares. Um, what else? I can also talk about the times I've almost died. How about the times I've died? You guys like to you guys like to know about the thousands of times I've almost died. Where I felt like I was dying. Okay. Um I consider myself to be a very good luck charm when it comes to driving. Um, my family um, has unfortunately been in several other car crashes. However, I am never in the vehicle when they do or when they've had them. Um, it's honestly, I say this because even as an infant, I've almost been in a car crash, but it's just never actually happened. Um, I think the very first time that I should have been in a car crash is when I was an infant, and this story was told to me by both my mother and my father. Um, so my dad and I were in the car, and we had this little truck, and he was driving down this street, and on the side it was a stop sign, but a guy that was also driving kind of almost hit the car, and it was kind of he almost hit the side that I was in, but my dad had swerved and it completely missed. Um, and that was like the very first time that I've heard that I should have been in a car crash. There was other several times. Another time is when I was going to Albuquerque with. I was going to Albuquerque. Yes, an infant. I was. I don't even think I was a year, but I was going to Albuquerque with my sister, my brother, my great uncle, and my dad. And my dad was driving. My great uncle was in the passenger seat, and I was in the seat behind my dad. And while he was driving, my uncle was talking to him, and this car on my dad's side, basically on my side as well. Um, so we were like driving. It wasn't the freeway. Um, down the street, and right where the intersect where you could kind of cross to go into the other lane on the other side. Um, the car was very close because I don't know what that car was thinking, but it thought that it probably can make it before my dad could get in front of it, but that wasn't the case, and I was very close to also getting hit by the car, but my dad had swerved just in time as well, and that was it. We just proceeded, and we said nothing about it. I was still kind of panicked because I saw the car right next to me, and it wasn't just like a very slow coming towards me. It was no, it was kind of speeding, but my dad swerved perfectly. And this is just like little things like that. Growing up, a more recent one was probably last year. Um, I was in a car with my stepdad, my mom, my three sisters, and my brother, and we were in the border to going to Juarez for the holidays. Um, and uh, my stepdad is honestly, he's a good driver, but he can be very reckless with his swerving because he was just cutting lines and stuff. And it got to the point where we almost got hit like 3 times, and I was panicking and I had to close my eyes. But safely, thankfully we didn't get hit. But there were other times where I wasn't in the car, and him doing that was not successful. And those are just little times that I've almost died. Another time is when uh, I was prescribed this a medication called lithium, and the doctor had prescribed me 900 milligrams in the morning and at night. And at first it didn't really struck me as weird that I was super drowsy, but um, I this was probably 2018, and it was honestly kind of scary because um, when I was, I take 900 milligrams at night in that morning, and um, one day the doctor was just like, okay, obviously this isn't working, so we're going to bump up the 900 to 1200, and they've basically overdosed me. And I don't know what happened, but they had changed me psychiatrists. And we're like, okay, what happens to the other psychiatrist? Like, oh well, he can't work with you anymore. So we're gonna give you a new doctor. And I got a new doctor, and the doctor was like, whoa, this is way too much for a 14-year-old or 15-year-old. I don't know how old I was. And I could have died from that. So that was a medication. Uh, um, there were other times, I think, man, I can't think of any right now, but I have a lot of times where I should have died. Oh, I remember. When I was maybe 8 or 7, I had to get my appendix removed. And my appendix, if everyone knows what the appendix is, it's a useless organ, really. And I'm 8, 12. I'm 8 or 7, and we weren't aware that I, I needed to get my appendix removed because honestly, we just assumed, or my mom had just assumed, that it was some kind of stomach bug. So I didn't go to the doctor the first day that I started throwing up everything I ate. But it just kind of got worse and worse. I couldn't drink anything that had flavor or eat anything. All I could drink was water, and even then I was still very not throwing up as much, but I was still throwing up. Maybe the third day that this was happening, I could not move at all. Like my body just completely stopped moving. I couldn't open my eyes. I was practically shaking. I remember specifically being lifted up, and I was picked up onto into the car. Um, you know what? Shut up. But we went to the hospital, and I got my appendix removed. Um, they said if I didn't get the surgery that day, I really could have died the next. If I waited another day, I could have died. Um, yeah, those are times. um, I also remember I was. Oh, so I wanted to tell this story as well. This is a very short story. Um, this had actually became kind of like a trigger, and it was like whenever someone would tap me on the shoulder, it'd be a big trigger for me. And this was due to I I want to say hallucination. When I was younger, my sister and my mom and I got all our stuff in. All we had really was a mattress and two baskets of clothes. Maybe two, three baskets of clothes, really, and some food here and there. So I was sleeping with my mom and my sister in the living room on the mattress, and you know, I had woken up to like a small tap on my shoulder. Um, and I thought it was like my sister, so I kind of like brushed it off. But I felt it again. I just kept felting it, and I kept brushing it off, but it just started getting like, come on, just keep tapping. Man. But I finally looked up and I could see like a very long white sleeve, just stretched out towards me, and then like a black long hair from the basket, and it freaked me out. So I was actually still asleep, so I woke up the second time, and it was just clothes. Above me was just a basket of clothes, and I still saw like the white shirt, the white long shirt, and whatever, like a black shirt, and it was just, from then it just became a big trigger. It doesn't affect me anymore, but it was something very scary for a while. You know what? Didn't hiccup. It whatever. Um, what else? What else? What else? Um, uh, I guess. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, no, I'm still here. I'm just kind of I was fixing something real quick. Okay. So give me another minute. I'm going to fuck. Sorry. I'm gonna pause this very spoopy sound real quick. I'm going to give me 1 second. I'm going to check something real quick. Hold on. Give me a second. I am still doing something. Spoopy dance. I don't know. That wasn't spoopy. That was more of like dancey. That makes sense. Um, okay. And we're back. Sorry, I had to check something real quick. Okay. So, a few probably months ago, probably last year, I think. My mom had looked through a bunch of old boxes that we had, and I had found a journal or composition book with drawings that I did as a kid. And a lot of them, were normal looking me drawing dresses, um, drawing me as some uh, someone that I wanted to be. Um, just, but I had always drawn a very, not always, but in some pages I'd find a a lot more of a creepier version of a girl, and she was always there when I would draw me standing up to bullies. She was just kind of always in the background. Um, and this didn't really struck me as weird at first. When I first saw it, I was like, okay, maybe I had accidentally drawn something that I didn't mean to. Um, but it that wasn't really the case. Now that I look back, when I was little, I believed to have an imagination. Maybe I was I was probably no, it's nothing like zero. I wish. Except I wish I was zero. Zero's cool. But and she wasn't my reflection. She was just like some imaginary friend that um I was always told that my mom would walk into me talking to someone and she'd ask who and I say my imaginary friend Penny. Um I sometimes feel like Penny, just such a cliche thing to say that Penny wasn't imaginary. And the reason why I say that Penny was probably not imaginary is because sometimes when I do defend myself or I'm up against an issue with another person, it feels like it's not just me that's there. I do, of course, have something called DID, but I doubt that it's that. Sometimes I feel like even when I'm not dealing with someone, that I have someone that's just there, that isn't human or fake. It's not scary. It doesn't follow me. I I can't be for sure that I know their names, but I have more than just one. One of them is described to me as a tall woman with long hair, and she wears a black dress, and she has a very sinister look in her face all the time. The other one is a little boy. He has messy black hair and wears gray and black. He has no eyes. At least this is what I've been told, that this is what they look like. I've never talked to them. I've never seen them myself. But sometimes I wish I do. Like I said, I don't feel scared, but I feel like I should, and that's enough for me to know for sure that I'm really not alone. And I've always struggled with learning. I've always struggled feeling that I'm left alone, except those times when I feel like I'm not. Like, also when I was little, I've also mentioned this probably several times as well. When I was younger, I remember I get like someone petting my hair whenever I just felt really sad. And it was just such a comforting that I never really was scared of that. Once I started taking medication and seeing doctors, that's when I stopped feeling that, that head patting that calmed me down when I was sad as a little kid. So sometimes here and there, when I feel upset, I pet my own hair. It just goes to show that it, what else? So I've talked about Penny, the tall woman, the little boy. I'm pretty sure webtoons is more interesting. Another thing I've actually. Oh yeah, Matthew. Matthew. Oh boy. So one night, Chrona's this one. One night, I was kind of just chilling in my room on my bed, and I was chilling in my room in the corner of my bed, and my dog was laying at the foot of the bed. And at the foot of the bed, we have we had a little, like a shelf on the floor, and on the shelf I had a wig and a couple of other junk on there. And it was nighttime, but I'm just, I'm just scrolling through TikTok, honestly, and so randomly I feel my dog jump on me. Like it wasn't like a dog pounce up. It was just like something had picked her up and tossed her at me, and it freaked me out because she's kind of like hyperventilating. She's breathing hard, and my first reaction was to turn on the lights. So I turned on the lights, and I noticed that the wig was not on my shelf or on the bookshelf, but on my bed. And it wasn't just like, oh, it fell. No, it was like gently tossed in the direction of my dog. Fuck you. Um uh and a milk I had like an empty milk carton, and it was also tossed a little. And it just felt like in the energy itself, it felt like mockery. And the first thing I did was text my friend, text Crow, was like, I'm freaking out. I'm freaked out. Um, Ow. And I explained the situation, and I just started thinking more about what just happened. And I don't want to say that I can see. I don't see spirits, but when I do interact with certain things, I see colors, or I think of colors. And with this one, I thought of gray, the color gray. Um, I like to sometimes describe them as shirts. I saw like a gray shirt. Um, but meanwhile when I was talking to Crow, uh, would not move for the longest time. She calmed down and she came sat with me, and once she did, I got like a name, like just a random name tossed at me, and I got the name Matthew. I don't know a Matthew, or I didn't know a Matthew, and I started kind of putting it together because this wasn't the first time that I have encountered meeting an entity or a spirit. Um, it does come in chops, but I wasn't. I mean, of course, I was startled in the beginning because the dog just randomly pounced at me. It was weird, but yeah, it wasn't. That happened. I talked to my friend Crow, and Crow is like super cool and helped me talk to Matthew a little bit. Um, but and then after a little bit, I had also gotten another color, and I had gotten another name, and the name was Paul. So we have Matthew and Paul, and I'm pretty sure there are several others in this house. However, I started talking to Paul and Matthew. I was like, okay, what other ones do we have? Um, there's another one that hides. I haven't really talked or really understand that one. I don't know their name, but um, after a while, it kind of got more and more silent, or the questions were being answered very vaguely, and I suddenly had gotten the color red and the letter T. Or it wasn't just like a red. Usually it would become in shirts, but this one was like a sweatshirt, like a hoodie, a red hoodie. Um, and I got the letter T, and I had just guessed a bunch of other names, and we just called her T. Um, I think we believe it's a she, but I also believe that the other ones are scared of her or it, because whenever we mention red hoodie or T, they kind of just are just really again vague answers and just not responding. And honestly, whenever I like right now, I'm actually kind of getting the chills. It's just very dark. thing. But red tea apparently is bad. Yeah, we shouldn't talk to Red Hoodie. I think one time I had talked to Red Hoodie on my own without Crow, and it was enough for me to stop talking to them for a while. I did. I did. I used my cards. I like how my voice cracked. I didn't like that at all. But oof, what else? I think. Okay. I think honestly, I'm gonna leave the stories here, at least for now. The stream has gone on for an hour and 20 minutes. I don't really have anything else to say, honestly. So I think I'm gonna end the stream here, honestly. And I'm actually gonna stream tomorrow as well. Probably around the same time. So yeah, I'm gonna end the stream here. I'll definitely do it tomorrow. So I'll text you guys in a little bit right now. So have fun, stay safe, and don't die.